Ippo and Mashiba's world title training is insane. Mashiba had no suitable sparring partner to prepare for his fight, so Ippo took it upon himself to train just so he could help Mashiba get ready. Thanks to Ippo's help, Mashiba was able to stand toe to toe in his world title match, which ended in a shocking result. This is the most important fight since Ippo's retirement match and serves as the conclusion to Mashiba's character arc. The boys were discussing the lightweight world champion Rosario when Ippo revealed that he has 20 wins, 2 losses and 2 draws, the same win-loss record as Mashiba. He is a southpaw infighter and his losses and no contests come from the fact that he is a notorious cheater during fights, earning him the nickname the bad boy from Puerto Rico. Then we get introduced to the bad boy himself, Marcos Swiss Cheese Rosario. The very first thing he did was almost shoot his manager, only for it to be revealed that he was actually trying to shoot at Mashiba's poster. Then he got up close and smacked that poster with his bare hands, promising to end Mashiba's happiness. That night, Ippo went to Kumi's house where she was alone since Mashiba was at the training camp. That was the perfect opportunity for Ippo and Kumi to finally smooch, but Ippo was interrupted several times. First by the shade of Mashiba, then by the boys, and then by Mashiba again, until Mashiba literally spawned inside the room since their training camp has been cancelled. Mashiba revealed how much he hates Ippo, but wanted to really know why Ippo wanted to date Kumi and wasn't making any progress at all. Mashiba said he wanted to entrust Kumi to somebody stronger than himself. He gave Ippo 10 seconds to name 5 things he liked about Kumi. Ippo had to go all out, even taking off his weighted wristbands just to say she's cute and stuff. But that wasn't enough for Mashiba. He wanted to see how well Ippo really knew her personally, until the whole thing then just escalated. Before Ippo left, Mashiba asked if he was really satisfied with retiring. Ippo said he was, but then Mashiba personally reminded him that his goal had always been to fight Miyata. That's when Ippo snapped. He called Mashiba out, saying that he had a chance to fight, but because Mashiba cheated, he robbed that opportunity away. In a twist, Mashiba actually apologized for it. He admitted he was just too desperate to win and felt guilty about it. He revealed that he only wanted to focus on his upcoming world title fight, so until then, Ippo should take care of Kumi until he becomes the world champion. Ippo accepted it, but then it was revealed that it was just a trick to make sure Ippo wouldn't see Mashiba at all. Later, Kumi said she wanted to go out on a beach date with Ippo if Mashiba won his world title fight, something that an excited Ippo immediately accepted. Mashiba, alone at home, had a flashback of his life and recalled his wild, brawling days where he was controlled by pure anger. After his parents died, he had it way rougher, being a teenage older brother looking after himself and his younger sister. One day he got ambushed by at least 2,000 people, and when they threatened to hurt Kumi, he snapped and was arrested afterwards. His probation officer, who was extremely sick, introduced Mashiba to boxing, and he quickly got accustomed to it. However, he was still controlled by his demons while boxing, until he ultimately got defeated by Ippo. After his fight with Ippo, Mashiba lost his probation officer and felt isolated again, until the present day, where he now has the support of everyone he comes with contact with. So he promised to take the world champion. Meanwhile, his camp realized that they do not have a sufficient sparring partner since infighter southpaws like Rosario are rare to find in the boxing world. After reviewing the Rosario tapes, Ippo initially wanted to assist Mashiba in his training, but since he did not possess the southpaw stance, Takamura suggested Ippo could help Mashiba if he trained like a southpaw himself. So Ippo trained day in and day out for his stance and visited Mashiba's gym for a spar with him. Mashiba's trainer was initially against the idea of a retired featherweight boxer simulating a southpaw infighter. But then Ippo disrespected them by telling them he could unintentionally hurt Mashiba if he went full out. So to test if it's true, they put Ippo in the ring to beat him up for his snarky comments. At first, Ippo had difficulties getting inside Mashiba's reach. Then Itadaki intervened and mentioned that Ippo still wears the weighted wristbands and should take them off to weave in faster. What followed is that Ippo, without any difficulties, got into Mashiba's reach and started to dominate him to the point where Mashiba was pushed to the ropes and could only defend himself. This is a massive improvement ever since their first sparring session where Ippo sparred with Mashiba in preparation for his fight against Malcolm Ghetto, with both of them recklessly exchanging blows with one another. But ultimately Mashiba got the upper hand and Ippo lost the spar. But this time Mashiba's camp recognized Ippo's dangerous nature and decided to change their strategy to the one that they intended to use in the world title fight. And the strategy, Mashiba extended his stance, making it harder for infighters to reach him. They found themselves in equal footing and their initial spar ended with Mashiba Mashiba's coach, commenting that Ippo fights like a natural southpaw. However, Mashiba decided to continue the spar to further beat Ippo up, as he caught him and Kumi almost making out and sought payback. Ippo accepted Mashiba's invitation and they no longer sparred to train but to inflict serious damage to another, with Ippo abandoning his southpaw stance and Mashiba going all out. They continued like this for 6 rounds without any rest until a duel exchange occurred, resulting in Ippo going down. However, on the next page he quickly got back up and taught the other boxers how to spar with Mashiba in the future, again unintentionally disrespecting Mashiba for the second time. When Ippo and Itadaki were about to leave, Mashiba wanted to show his gratitude for their help, but hesitated at the last second. Just a few days before the fight, there was no information about Rosario at all. Everyone thought that he would simply not show up for the official fight. This got Ippo mad and even affected Mashiba, but he simply ran off all of his frustrations. Then Rosario finally landed, exactly the day before the weigh-ins. It was revealed that he had been arrested, so he had no time to train or prepare for Mashiba, and he was also dealing with weight management issues. On the day of the weigh-ins, he initially didn't make the cut and had to run just to somehow make the weight for the second weigh-ins. He channeled all his anger towards Mashiba to push through. We also got a flashback of Rosario revealing that he was associated with a group of not so nice people who betrayed him, thinking he was a snitch. Ever since then, he started boxing to somehow make ends meet. He doesn't enjoy boxing itself, he's only in for the money. The day before Mashiba's big fight, he got all kinds of calls from people wishing him good luck, including Sando, whom he had some history with, and even Miyato wished him luck for the fight. Mashiba went outside and was then greeted by his #1 supporter, Ippo, who had stayed outside the entire time to personally wish Mashiba good luck. He again tried to say thanks, but of course Kumi had to ruin the mood. But still, Mashiba left with his arm raised high, promising to win the world title. On the day of the fight, Rosario almost showed up late. He had to perfect his hideous haircut first. Meanwhile, Mashiba's coach gave him one clear strategy: keep his distance and focus only on body blows. Since Rosario had weight management issues, the plan was to tie him out in the first half of the fight and go all out in the second half. As the fight was about to start, Rosario knew Mashiba would aim for the body shots, so he decided to go all out from the get-go. But Mashiba, knowing Rosario would expect that, flipped the script and started brawling with him right from the start. He pushed Rosario back, making it clear that this wouldn't be an easy fight. In the crowd, even Sawamura showed up to see how this fight would play out. Rosario called this fight unfair since he couldn't land a single hit on Mashiba. The rest of the round was full of close calls, but neither of them could land anything clean until the bell rang. Still calling the fight unfair, Rosario took a deep breath at the start of round 2 and charged in to land something. That's when Mashiba pulled out his world title strategy. He extended his stance, making himself unreachable. At the moment, he started beating the crap out of Rosario. Rosario's coach was in shock, mumbling that Mashiba must have sparred with a world champion level southpaw to prepare for this, and we all know who that is. It's Ippo. Mashiba was about to get the first knockdown, but the bell rang before he could finish Rosario off. Rosario had enough of this unfair fight, so he locked in and shifted gears and went all in to finally land a clean shot. But Mashiba kept decimating him until his legs started trembling. Mashiba went for a chopping right again to put Rosario down, but it was a setup. Rosario countered and sent Mashiba crashing to the mat. Mashiba was too hurt to recover properly, so Rosario went in for the kill, backing him into a corner. But just as he went for the finish, Mashiba landed a perfect uppercut and dropped Rosario as well. Both men got back up, battered in pain, ready to keep swinging until the round ended. Rosario, still coping with how unfair this fight was, changed his hairstyle on the spot, spiked it up to bright blonde hair. Super Saiyan Rosario charged at Mashiba, throwing wild punches while trying to headbutt him at the same time. Mashiba dodged every shot until Rosario stepped on his foot. Mashiba barely avoided the first punch, but he couldn't dodge the headbutt. Now bleeding like crazy, he was out for payback. Mashiba was tripping, barely able to see out of one eye. Cornered, he almost threw an elbow at Rosario's head, but the bell rang right before he could. Rosario just smirked, fully aware of what Mashiba had almost done. In the next round, Rosario kept tripping Mashiba while landing heavy shots. Mashiba was on the verge of losing himself to pure anger, but hearing the entire arena cheer for him, he knew he had to let it go. He couldn't beat Rosario with rage alone, so he focused entirely on body blows, which Rosario picked up and prepared to counter. In the 6th round, Rosario thought back to how he was betrayed by his friends, but his fists wouldn't betray betray him. While taking a dozen body blows, he finally managed to counter Mashiba, sending him crashing headfirst to the mat. Mashiba was barely conscious but felt thankful for all his friends and supporters he had now. When he came to his senses, he realized he wanted to show his gratitude by claiming the world championship, so he swore to win the fight. Rosario was completely out of stamina thanks to Mashiba's body blow strategy. For the first time, he called the situation fair. He knew he should have trained harder, taking his weight management seriously and studied Mashiba the way Mashiba studied him. He accepted that the man in front of him was a real boxer. So for the remainder of the fight, he decided to fight fair, not wanting to betray the only thing he was good at. Mashiba remembered everyone who helped him to get to this moment and threw another punch. Rosario assumed it was another body blow and guarded his body, only to look up and get executed by a chopping right. Somehow he got back up and squared off with Mashiba again. Then Mashiba accidentally tripped on Rosario and landed badly on his neck just as the round ended. Rosario, looking like a beaten up guy, admitted defeat in his own way, saying he would have to return to Japan. Meanwhile, Mashiba wanted to say thank you again, but still couldn't bring himself to do so, not until he became champion. In the classic Hajime no Ippo fashion, the final round was an all-out brawl until one of them fell. Rosario was the first to go down. In the corner, Mashiba caught Ippo hugging Kumi in 4K. He had an inner conflict about why Kumi chose someone like Ippo as her first partner. He always said he would only accept someone stronger than him. He repeated those words, stronger than himself, and just looked at them smiling before turning his attention back to Rosario. Rosario got back up and Mashiba hit him with a devastating punch. But he had one more left in him. In the final exchange, Ultra Instinct Rosario landed one last counter. Mashiba positioned himself for an uppercut and sent Rosario flying into the ropes. Rosario, defeated but not broken, promised to train harder than ever. Until the day he returned to Japan, he wanted Mashiba to take care of his belt. Mashiba went in for a final punch. The entire arena cheered his name. He had one last flashback of his entire life. All he had to do was reach Rosario, but at the last second he missed by just a few millimeters, and then he collapsed. His coach caught him at the last moment. This ending frustrated the fan base, including myself, since I reacted to it live when it dropped. And will he go down? Will Rosario go down? It did not connect! No, why? But the only one who stayed calm was Miyata, who just stared at Rosario, hinting that he might move up to the lightweight division to challenge him for the title. Later we learned what happened to Mashiba. He was unconscious with brain and spinal damage that might be permanent. Even though he regained consciousness in the recent chapters, we still don't know if he will have a lifelong disability from the fight. And that marks the end of Ippo's retirement arc saga. If you've enjoyed this mini-series, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more Hajime no Ippo content. I'm the Reading Crow and thanks for watching.